everyone, it's Elaine. Thanks for joining me on my channel today. Today I am going to be making a scalloped pop-up box card using my lawn fawn die and my new Elelphant Bookworm stamp set that I recently received, and they're just adorable. So I have die cut quite a lot of my pieces out for my box already. I just thought it would save a little bit of time. So here I am just putting my box card together. I have shown this in another video. I'll link to that below as well. But I just like to cut all my pieces out and then stick some double-sided tape to any of the flaps that need it. I put one of the edges of the main outside bit together, and then I add in these little tabs on the inside, and I just sort of line them all up and remove the tape, and then just close down that other flap on the end. If there are a lot of tutorials with these cards, and so I didn't want to go into it in too much detail, but if that's something you would like me to do, I would be more than happy to do it, because it can be a bit intimidating if you've not done it before. There we go. There is my box all ready to go. So for the background piece in my card, I really wanted to have like a wall effect. I thought that would really be quite sweet, because I am thinking about giving this to my son's teacher. So I've taken my Holtz stencil just onto a piece of, plain white cardstock, nothing fancy, and I'm just using my Memento ink engraved flannel with an ink blending tool just to get some of that ink down really lightly. It's a pastel pink card, so I just wanted really soft colours. And then what I do is just take that die and run it through my Big Shot, and then it's got the right shape for that back flap on the card. You'll see in a moment what I mean. So I just trim that off with a pair of scissors, and then I've taken my really rainbow paper pad from Lawn Fawn as well. I think they're really good colours for teacher cards. Rainbows are always good for any teacher cards, and I should have used a bone folder to score these flaps, but I was being a bit lazy. And these are just going to go on the fold down flaps on my card. So I just glue those down, just using some liquid adhesive to do that. And for anybody who hasn't seen this die before, all these pieces, all these, the dies are included in the set for these, add-on pieces, so it's really easy to do. And then I'm taking that bricked background panel, and I'm going to put that right on that back panel, which hasn't been scored. I've left that straight because that's also where you would write your message on the back. So once I've got that into position, I just take a palette knife. You could use a bone folder, you could use anything, but I just had that to hand, and I smooth it down, make sure it's nicely stuck down, nice and even. And then I'm going to move on to my colouring. So I've already stamped my images on some Copic friendly cardstock, and I have inked it up with Memento Tuxedo black ink. And there is quite a lot of colouring here, so I am just going to play some music while I colour. I have tried to show all the caps that I've used. Some of my chow markers haven't got labels on, so I have tried to include just some written text where perhaps that marker number might be missing, but I will try and link everything in the description box below. All the materials I've used have been, but there was a lot of markers, so I'll try and do that for you as well. And I shall see you once the colouring is finished. Bye. So once my colouring is all finished, I take some just post-it tape and then secure the dies on and run it through my big shot. And just as a little last finishing touch with the glasses, before I add glossy accents, I do just add my BG10 marker to wherever those glasses sort of overhang, just to give them a little bit of colour and just to make it look more realistic. So now I'm just sort of starting to glue my elements together. I'm using my Nuvo liquid adhesive, and I did play around sort of off camera with where I'm going to place these little critters, but I didn't want to bore you too much with that because that did sort of take quite a long time. But once I've glued the critters to any other die cuts, I then secure them down into my card. So as that one's quite a tall piece, I put that one at the back. And then I just put my bunny with that stack of books, and again, just sort of seeing how things are going to look once it would be secured. And once I'm happy with things, I start gluing it down. So just some more glue on those bunnies and books. And this glue does sort of tend to dry quite quickly, so I don't have to wait too long for them to stick. So I'm liking how everything's looking. And then I'd add some glossy accents to any of those critters with glasses. I find this really therapeutic to add glossy accents to things. And now the key is not to touch it or knock them. But I think I did leave them overnight. So now I've decided that I'm just going to cut a piece of white, plain card for my sentiments. And I just used my pencil to work out where I want, what sort of size I want that to be. And then just use my paper trimmer, which definitely needs a new blade because the edges were a little bit fuzzy, And then again, I'm just taking that thank you stamp from Mama Elephant Pixie's Friends because it is my favourite, and I think it's a really nice size and really like the font. So I I'm sorry if you're getting bored of seeing that stamp, but I'm going to use my Embossing Buddy VersaFine Onyx Black ink and then take some clear embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat set that. I really like the look of that raised glossy finish. And then once I'm happy with that, I shall then secure it to the front flap of the card. So I have also got the Goodreads, I think that's what it's called. I'll list it in the description box below, the sort of stamp set that also coordinates with this set. And I've laid my card flat into my Misti, because until all my images were secured on the card, I didn't really know where to stamp on that back panel. But once I'm happy with where everything's placed, I then put everything flat into my Misti and then use the Your Tops in my book. I thought that was quite nice for a teacher card. And I stamped that onto that back piece. And then there's some little hearts in the Bookworm stamp set. And I just took those and used my Memento inks in Angel Pink and Lulu Lavender and inked them up quite a few times so that they would show up. So I just really like how that white pops against the rainbow paper. I'm definitely going to have to buy another pack of that. It's lovely. And just adding a few little more elements on once I'm starting to finish up the main piece of the card. I did colour a couple of other little bits, like this little book, the little red book. I did colour that for the little piggy to sit on. And there's my card pretty much finished. And just to add some, a little bit more colour to the front, I took my Mama Elephant confetti die and just some more of that paper out of the really rainbow pad and cut out lots of little hearts. And then I stuck them onto the front, added some glossy accents, and just to add on some nice little detailing on the front. And that finishes up my card for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I really appreciate all your comments and your likes, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye.